Want to stop weeds before they start? Well, I've got the perfect solution for you today because I'm sharing 2 powerful products that are going to create a barrier against most common weeds that we face in our lawns, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use them for best results. If you've been following my lawn care program, you're going to know that applying a pre-emergent at the right time is the most important thing for weed control throughout the entire year. Even if you've already applied your first round of pre-emergent, there's a second round of pre-emergent that I like to do to make sure that nothing gets missed. Okay, hold up. What if you missed your first round of pre-emergent? Now, I've talked with a few of you who are following my lawn care program, and some people have said, yeah, with this crazy weather that's been going on lately, it's been really difficult to get my granular pre-emergent down in an ideal time. But if that's you and you still have that bag sitting around in your shed or in your garage, if those soil temperatures have already gotten above 60 degrees, you might as well go ahead and store that bag and wait for the fall. That window has effectively closed for the spring application. But if you live further north, if you live way up north in the Northeast and your temperatures are still below 55 degrees or they're just approaching 55 degrees, go ahead and put this down. It's the perfect time. It's the perfect window for you to put down that pre-emergent. For those of you who live in the transition zone, anywhere from Arkansas over to Virginia, the time is now to put down that first round of pre-emergent. But I've got some good news for those of you who missed that window. Today, I'm going to be using a product called Dimension. It has some post-emergent capabilities, especially against crabgrass. For some of those weeds that have already germinated, Dimension's going to knock them out, creating that pre-emergent barrier going forward, but also hitting those post-emergent weeds. Now, that first single pre-emergent application is going to be good, but it might not get complete coverage on all the weeds that we'd hope for. That's why I like to do a split treatment, because it provides extra coverage. It's an extra layer of defense for different kinds of weeds that emerge at different times throughout the season. Also, a single pre-emergent application may not last long enough to cover the entire weed germination period for all species of weeds. Some weeds germinate earlier than others, while some emerge later in the season. And by doing a second round of application with a different product, I'm ensuring that no weeds can slip through the cracks. It's also going to help prevent weeds from developing resistance to a specific type of pre-emergent, which is kind of a real risk, because if you're always applying the same ingredient over and over again, year after year, it's going to be good to alternate between different products to make sure that these weeds don't develop a resistance to a single chemical of that one pre-emergent you're always putting down. Okay, let's be real. The spring weather has been absolutely uncooperative at times. This year has been really difficult finding a good window of opportunity. I know, we're all busy. Even given that little extra time on our hands, the weather has made it nearly impossible for us to get this product down without the rain messing it up. Even with my first round application, the very next day I had a really heavy rainfall that might have washed some of the application away, or at the very least diluted it. And so that's why applying a second round of application is going to help us reestablish that weed blocking barrier, because if that initial timing was less than ideal due to weather, we're going to be able to make sure we got our bases covered. There's another thing that I'd like to mention that I always want to throw this disclaimer out there, just in case people don't know. Make sure you never apply a pre-emergent on new sod or new seed. The pre-emergent will not discriminate between weeds and grass seed. It will take it out too. I would really hate to see that happen. If you've spent all that good money on grass seed or sod just for it to be destroyed. So just make sure that if you've seeded in one area of your yard, hold off on the application at least 3 or 4 months. Even closer to 6 months would probably be better. I just want to make sure that your grass is fully established before it's treated with a pre-emergent. A lot of you have cool season grasses, and sometimes you have to seed in the springtime. So do not apply this now. You'll want to skip this treatment. If you just seeded in one area though, it's safe to spray the rest of the yard, but don't go near that newly seeded area, because just remember, there can be some drift from wind, there can be some wash from rain, so just don't go anywhere close to that area. It's better to be safe than sorry. So today I'm going to be adding 2 really good pre-emergent products to my program that should basically eliminate all the weeds that I've got in my yard for the entire season. All right, so first we're going to be looking at this product right here called Dimension. It comes in liquid form and it contains an active ingredient called dithiopyr, which is an excellent control for weeds like crabgrass and poa annua, poana. however you like to pronounce it, it's fine. I'll take either way. But this product is very good at controlling all the common weeds that we find in our yard. And if you have trouble with those that I specifically said, this product is going to be right for you. And this product also works for cool and warm season grasses. Like I mentioned before, Dimension is an early post-emergent control against crabgrass too. So if there are any of those weeds already visible in your yard, Dimension will help knock them out while preventing more of them from popping up later on. If you've got a bunch of poa right now in your yard, that's because we need to put down a really good fall pre-emergent application. Let's do that later this year because that's the time of the year that we want to target this weed specifically. Those grassy weeds are really hard to get rid of anyway. It's going to take most likely multiple seasons to completely take it out. I've still got a little bit in my yard that I'm still working through. All right, so now on to this second product. This is Gallery 75. It's specifically going to target broadleaf weeds, and the main reason why I'm going to be adding it to my program is to prevent a weed called Chamberbitter. Chamberbitter is a really stubborn warm season weed that emerges later in the summer here in the South. And I'm going to be putting down this Gallery product right now that will allow me to stop having to deal with this weed later on. It's really been one of the toughest weeds that I've had to deal with. It spreads so fast. The active ingredient in Gallery is called isoxaben. And just like Dimension, it's safe for all grass types. That's including ornamental plants too. Basically what I'm saying is it's okay to spray around flower beds as well. And get this, Gallery provides an 8-month weed protection. That is some serious long-lasting protection for a pre-emergent product. That's why I wasn't worried about putting this product down too early, even though I know Chamberbitter emerges much later into the season. Apparently I've got crows all over the place flying around me. Might have to do a little bit of noise canceling for that section. I don't know, crows. So by combining these two pre-emergents together, I'm getting a protection from both grassy weeds and broadleaf weeds, the ones that I face every single year, the ones that I've had so much trouble with. So it's a really great combination that's going to help me from having to go out and spray weeds all season long. For this application, I'm going to be putting down the medium rate of Dimension at 0.5 ounces per 1,000 square feet. The label rate for this product ranges between 0.28 and 0.75. That's depending on the target weeds that you're trying to control. Now, I'm going to be doing a 0.5 rate that falls right around in the middle to be an effective range for this pre-emergent control. It's going to cover 12,000 square feet. That's what I've got here front and back in my lawn. For me, that converts to about 175 milliliters and about 0.75 cups. One thing that I've got to mention about both of these products is they are expensive. They've got a really big upfront cost, but they're going to last a long time. I've used Dimension for 3 times now, and I've still got the majority of the bottle left. Now, as for this Gallery product, I'm going to be using near the top end of the label rate. It ranges from anywhere from 0.25 to 0.5 ounces per 1,000 square feet. And so if you actually look at the label and look at the application rates based on the weed type that you're trying to target, and for me, that's Chamberbitter, it says on the label to use 0.38 ounces per 1,000 square feet. And so to cover my lawn, I'm going to need about 4.5 ounces of that product. So it comes out to be almost a half a cup. And just like that Dimension product, this is going to stay on your shelf for a really long time, especially if you've only got to use this product once a year, which is what I plan to do, because I've only got to target this one specific broadleaf weed that's only going to come out in the early part of the summer. It also recommends to include a surfactant in the application. So adding that surfactant is going to help with product adhesion to the blades, and it's going to help penetrate on those leaves. I'll be adding a little bit of marker dye. I don't know if it's actually going to do any good because my grass is already starting to turn green from my first fertilization, but I'm going to throw it in there anyway. It would be a lot better if it was coming out of dormancy, but make sure that these products get watered in after the application is put on the grass. That will activate the pre-emergent. And so this moves those active ingredients into the soil a lot more quickly, and that way it can start working right away. Now, these products are safe to use around pets and animals. Just make sure that the pets are inside, the kids are inside whenever you're applying this product. Once the product has been applied and it's dried, it's perfectly safe to let the dogs go out in the yard or the kids go out and play. Personally, I like to keep my kids off of the yard for at least that afternoon that I've applied it. That way the next day, it's perfectly fine for them to go out into the yard and it's not going to hurt them at all. Now, with these products properly watered in, we shouldn't have any weeds getting through to us this season. All right, if you want to make sure that you follow my lawn care program, be sure to sign up in the link description below. If you sign up, I'll be sending you products that I recommend on a monthly basis and when you need to apply them. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.